Hello. Hi. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that I wrote it on the title, and perhaps this is why you clicked on it. A-levels. I'm studying in kind of like an international sixth form school in England, and I'm studying A-levels, of course, because why would I make this video? My school doesn't have a wide range of subjects to choose, so the main reason why I chose these subjects are basically just these are these subjects that are available in my school. I just chose the subjects that I think I can use it to apply to my university in the field that I want to study. And yeah, these are the only subjects that I can choose if I want to study law. Yeah, it's sad, but it's manageable. I'm studying business studies, economics, psychology, and I'm also studying history by myself. I have no idea why I chose to study history by myself. It's completely unnecessary, but to add a little bit of spice and anxiety to my life, and I also love to torture myself, so in this video, I'm going to give you a big picture just to sum up what you will be facing if you choose these subjects, and also some study tips for each individual subject, so be sure to stay till the end. How I revise each subject or my study tips are the tips that I think it's effective for me. So I would recommend you to do a little experiment and see what's the most effective learning style for you. Business studies. Out of these 4 subjects, I feel like business studies is the easiest subject, but bizarrely, it's my least favorite subject. The reason behind that is just a bit personal.
Both my dad and my mom are entrepreneurs, and they always do business, whatever they're doing. I don't even know what they're doing. And I just hate that because, to be honest, I don't really like my parents.
Don't tell them that. Business studies is an essay subject, so prepare yourself for lots and lots of essays to write, especially in the exam. The higher mark questions are usually essay questions. And yes, it's about business, so besides from essays, you might have to prepare yourself for some calculation. If you like to do math, or if you know how to do math, the calculation part is going to be very easy for you. But for me, I don't really know how to do math, so for me that's the most difficult part. There are a lot of key terms, business terms that you have to remember, and although most of the essays you just have to know how to apply it, you still have to memorize lots of business terms and use it in the essays. To be honest, I spent the least time in revising and studying business studies. The subject itself is quite easy, and also you usually just have to know how to apply it in real life situations. Usually for business studies, I just make a mind map for that topic, and in the mind map, I'll add some key terms and some definitions and also some formulas. But I would not spend too much time on that. I usually just look at my essay homework and rewrite that again, see where can I improve it. Economics. I love social science subjects. I love studying social science, but economics is my least favorite social science subject. Probably because I have to draw diagrams and I have to do some calculation, and I hate doing math. But one good thing about economics, it's an essay subject. And I think sometimes it can be quite easy because sometimes it doesn't have a fixed correct answer. For example, if the exam asks about how can this thing be applied into one of the 7 macroeconomics objectives, I'll usually just go for the environment because that's the easiest thing I can come up with. We have disasters, we have pollution. You see my point? It can be easy sometimes, but the majority of the time it's pretty difficult. And you also need to memorize lots of materials, lots of economics terms. The economics terms are very important. In the exam, the first thing you need to do is define the key term. You just need to memorize the definition for that. I think another thing about economics is the quantity of the exam paper is too much for just like 1.5 hour time. So here's an example of one of my mock exam. It's pretty close to the actual exam, and you can see that there's no way to finish all of that in 1.5 hour. For me, the biggest challenge in economics exam is how to finish all of that in 1.5 hours. So for economics, I usually just do a lot of past papers. And personally, I don't think flashcards are that effective for economics. I just do lots and lots of past papers. And sometimes I would time myself, or sometimes I would just keep rewriting the long essay questions until I can memorize how to answer long essay questions. And also I read a lot of mark schemes. So yeah, basically just absorb all the mark schemes in my head so I can know what kind of answers will get me full marks in the exams. And just a little advice, if you're doing economics exam, time is the biggest issue here. So now when I get the question paper, I usually just flip to the highest mark questions. To do that long essay questions, which is usually the highest mark questions first, then move on to data response questions, and lastly do the multiple choice questions. I feel like that's the only way that I can do the exam and still get high marks. If you're stuck in one particular question, don't think about it that much, just go to the next questions and maybe some good ideas will pop in your head whilst you're doing the other questions. Psychology. Psychology is probably the only subject that I choose because I want to choose, not because it's the only thing available in my school. I really enjoy studying psychology. I love discussing theories with my friends. I love writing psychology essays. I just love studying, love revising psychology. Although psychology sounds fun, there are still a lot of materials and details. You have to memorize every single details in the experiments, in the theories. As I've said, psychology is my favorite subject. I put a lot of effort into revising it, and because I think it's fun. During the class, I would make lots and lots of notes in Notion, and after the class, I would make summary notes. It would look something like this. You can see how much I like psychology by like all the washi tapes that I use in this. And about 1 or 2 weeks prior to the mock exam, I would make flashcards and memorize the flashcards. 3 days before the exam, I would go on Seneca and try to do all the questions. And from time to time, I would try to study from past papers. Lastly, history. Well, I study history by myself because my school doesn't offer history, but I really love studying history. For the in-depth study, I'm studying the French Revolution, and for the breadth study, I'm studying Spain in the Age of Discovery. You have to memorize lots and lots of details when you're studying history, of course, because it's one of the most difficult subjects. But it's still very interesting for me. When I'm studying history, I would usually just do lots and lots of bullet points. In my bullet point notes, I would highlight the name of the important people, the important dates, also years too. It would look something like this. I usually just read through the notes, read a lot of them, and try to memorize every single details because it's all important. Overall, I would say A-levels are very difficult, but it's also very challenging and fun. Thank you for staying to the end, and I hope this helped. If you have any questions, feel free to ask under this comment section or DM me on my Instagrams. Or if you want me to do any video about anything, just comment down below, because to be honest, I'm running out of ideas. If you want more study tips, more anecdotes or anything, be sure to subscribe, and it will mean a lot to me if you hit that thumbs up. If you are studying A-levels or if you're deciding whether to do A-levels or not, good luck and be prepared. I'm going to my school assembly now, so